Hey everybody, this is Ahdoom, and once again we are playing Darkest Dungeon, and let's take a few moments to do some mission selection before we decide what we're going to do. We have the option of doing a couple of champion level matches, we have a few apprentice based ones, but with my antiquarian getting rid of some awful plague, it's going to be a bit of a doozy for me to get a whole bunch of lobies up. That said, the only other option I have is a whole bunch of level 3s and 4s, which do need to get upgraded to level 5s to fill out the roster. But I'm a bit split as to what I should be doing as far as decision goes. In terms of lobby maps, we have a short apprentice, we also have a long apprentice, and I'm thinking that what I'm going to do is the short, again, just to quickly try and steal myself some XP. The one necessary character in the bunch is absolutely going to be Chauncy, the occultist, who I need to get up to level 3 post-haste. Filling out the roster, we can probably pick up Bohan, the Plague Doctor, who's a very low level 2, and then carrying things through, we've got some choices to make. Again, unfortunately, we don't really have any tanks that I can use as front-level hitters, aside from potentially this bounty hunter that I've just picked up. The only question I really have is whether his abilities are going to be of use. Stun is absolutely worthwhile, a bleed attack is absolutely worthwhile in the Cove, so that's the one I'm going to do. The only question is whether I keep that pull, whether I replace it with a knockback stun or with a shuffle stun. Finish him could also be quite good, but only against stuns. That said, I do have some good stun chances with that Plague Doctor, so I think finish him is going to be the one that I pick up. Going to get rid of Come Hither and replace that with Uppercut. Flashbang, 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 flashbang. Let's keep Uppercut. Okay, so we've made a decision about our front line, and then we'll get a support player in place, and it could either be a... I don't play Abominations very often, I don't really know how to play them, so just until I might figure that out later, we'll pick up a Highwayman. Now it's time for us to start picking up... Ooh, I have way too many Holy Orders there. I should sell some of those off at some stage. We'll definitely pick up the Blasphemous Vial, which is just fantastic all the time. Given that Fragile is a quirk this guy carries, we'll drop one of 2 Sun Cloaks on him. Looking through to the Occultist. Again, another slightly squishy player, but... Again, that debuff skill chance and move skill chance is pretty darn useful. What we will do, though, is look at what we can do to increase his either healing or his protection. And I'm thinking it's going to be, again, protection that we're looking at. So we'll drop down another Sun Cloak here, so all my squishy guys have a slightly better chance of surviving. On the Highwayman, he's going to be one of our main damage dealers. That is a plus 4% crit, plus 40% bleed chance. That is not too shabby at all. And I'm going to complement that with some additional... Actually, his hit points... let's save the Sun Ring for the Bounty Hunter, and then potentially give these guys something to make them a bit less squishy. Now, increased chance to trap disarm and better dodge is nothing to be sneered at. In fact, I'm going to pick that up, which means we're going to probably look at either a Berserk Charm for the Bounty Hunter, or alternatively some increases of damage, or actually, since he's functionally operating as my tank, no, I don't want to reduce the speed, even if it's only by 1. Let's actually improve his speed and damage and stress, and the accuracy debuff I'll have to take, and we'll ride this one out and see if this Berserker Charm is worth using. Now, just before I step out, I want to make sure that I'm using the right abilities on my Highwayman. Wicked Slice is fantastic, Point Blank Shot is great, Duelist Advance and Open Vein is all good in my books. The Occultist, we're satisfied with this current layout, but again, if as soon as that Sacrificial Stab is going to count for the difference, and we will use Disorienting Blast because there's some front row damage, or alternatively... No, stuns are worthwhile. Okay, I'm going to stop prevaricating. This is going to be a common trinket, 2 busts and some gold. Nothing to write home about, but again, this is an XP run, not a change the world run. Medicinal Herbs, again, we vowed to never again use Holy Waters in the Coves, and we're going to stick to that. We'll bring 2 Medicinal Herbs, full stack of torches, and full stack of food, which may be overkill, but there you go. Always good to have a bit of extra healing when you're only rocking an Occultist for heals. And let's see what we get. While things are loading, just want to stop and say thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate the time you take. I know these videos go for a really, really long time. I love them making them, and it's great to have an audience. I really appreciate it. And let's get stuck in and see what we have.
Fish is almost unbearable.
Okay, so there's going to be some necessary doubling back here. We'll have to go up north and then down back the other way, but that's fine. We've got one shovel. Could have brought two, but I chose one. And I'm going to have to stick with that. That's fine. Take care of this now.
Another mariner, another misfortune.
Ah, that second shovel would have come in handy right now, I guess. That's alright. Get a nasty gash and have to find a way of living with it. That's going to be 6 damage that we take over 3 turns. Into an empty room and no additional scouting, so I have to go in blind. Again, going to take the chance to not give him any additional bleeding, and this one's just an empty. Again, could have brought more shovels, didn't, and that's something I'm going to have to live with. We'll drop a bit of food on this guy though, just to make him closer to fully topped up, and we get contact in dim light, which we need to address relatively rapidly. And now we're on radiant light, so our sun cloaks will be kicking in. The question is, what do we do in this first turn? We have some pretty good chances for an insta-kill. And we'll try and drop that insta-kill, I think, on the front row. Great hit there. Next, to follow things up, we're going to drop an abyssal artillery out the back and see how much damage that's going to do for us. Oh my god, amazing. And this chappie here has 8 HP left. What I could do is try and shuffle some things around, or I could try and... I've got one more move with the highwayman after this, so what I might just do is drop a blight down here. 1 damage plus 5 to come, and we will look at a duelist advance just to finish him off. He's absolutely dead in his next turn, and we have a riposte active, and as you guys know, I love me a riposte. Great dodge from the occultist, and we're back to resets now. Try and drop some damage potentially here if we can. 2 to 4 damage all around, nothing to really write home about particularly. Could try and go for the stun as well, 50% chance to resist. Let's just take our equal highest chance to do some damage. Again, as much as it's only 2 damage, it's not actually too shabby in the grand scheme of things given this guy's hit points. He is now dead in his next turn regardless, and so at this stage anything we do is just faffing. Why not kill them off? Why not? Why not? Alright, pressing onwards into an unscattered room. We will see what we have behind door number 1. Didn't rearrange positions, so I'm going to do that right now. Again, you get sloppy in this game and you get dead. So let's make sure that we don't make any more obvious and noobish mistakes. Hoping for some of that sweet, sweet coral to help me get rid of some quirks. Not sure what quirks I want to remove at this stage, but I need to make sure I get the coral first before I start dreaming dreams of great and awesome quirk removal. Delusions of grandeur, they're a problem for everyone. Torch up at this stage because it's probably pertinent. And let's press onwards into this next room. Just an empty sack, which is... oh, it's got loot. Sorry, I don't know why I called it an empty sack. Check who has the highest chance to disarm, and oh my god, is it the highwayman, who is now back to 0 stress, which is always a wonderful place to be. No stress is a happier life by far. Pressing onwards and onwards, further and downwards. Oops! But we got the dodge. It's a good trap because it didn't hurt us. Don't care about that food, but we might take the chance. If I get 2 corals, it's unlikely, it's a short map. Sometimes these guys drop out some nice treasure, not just food, so I'm happy to take that extra bit of tchotchkes. Torch up and press in.
May we find victory.
Sorry, bit of a cough tonight. I need to quit smoking. I'm going to skip that one for the moment, and I'm going to have to take the chance on this one here. That's fine. Again, you're curious, you get a gash. We've been down this road before, only 6 damage, and again, that's completely fine. In Radiant, as we go into this room, if it's a battle, we should be okay for the moment. Alright, we're okay for the moment, and we'll not actually probably suffer any darkness penalties from these guys. What I will do though is drop a stun in place here, because that lets me activate an additional bit of damage from the from the bounty hunter. The next thing I'm going to do is try to start wearing these guys down ever so slightly. The slide artillery drops down, crit for 9, and standard damage of 5. Not shabby in the least. This chappie has a chance to be killed very comfortably with the highwayman with the dual advance, so I'll try and... Oh, alright, let's just... Damage potential here is pretty good. 11 to 21 isn't too shabby at all. Uppercut as well could be pretty awesome. That knockback could be incredibly useful in addition to the stun. Let's do it. 5 there, and the stun takes. And let's do a Wicked Slice right here on the first position to practically guarantee the kill. And again, we're not worried about ripostes because everyone, like everyone, is stunned for the moment. Time to drop ourselves a Blight on the back row. That goes without saying at all. And that is some sweet damage to come. Bit of bleeding, but that's all gone now. What we will need to do though is focus on that back row. 15 damage, and 15 damage is absolutely glorious. Could rely on the occultists to secure the kill on this chappie here. Could not. Look, let's just do a dual advance here. That's 6 additional damage. He has 8 HP left. Not enough to take him out of the game next round, but... I have an interesting problem to deal with. Look, let's drop an Abyssal Artillery. Nice crit for 11. And we only have to deal with 1 Cutthroat. 3 damage, and no other consequences, so we're looking pretty. I should say we're sitting pretty, or we're looking good. We're not pretty. That's kind of creepy. Reshuffle back into position, consider using some food, but we're going to actually, yeah, let's just do 1 and 1. Great stuff. Use a key on that heirloom chest because we can, and we get some not bad loot for a short dungeon. Scouting out, we have a corridor battle coming up, and then a curio room, which is just fine by me. Here's that corridor battle. Let's think about this carefully and well. Chance for an insta-kill, which is not too shabby at all. No other chance there. Let's take this one on the initial. And we get it just on the money, which is fantastic. Can look at a stun and shuffle, which wouldn't be too badly out of place. Or alternatively, we could try and put a Blight in the front. I like stuns. Stuns take care of all sorts of problems in ways which are unique and beautiful. And because of a stun in place, I can drop a finish him right here for some sweet extra damage. Stress goes down as well, which is lovely. Ren for the Old Gods drops on the Highwayman, who gets the dodge in. Beautiful stuff, and rather than activating a riposte, we're just going to do whatever we can to secure this kill as quickly as possible. So unfortunately that is going to be the insta-kill on this guy, but this will finish things up handily, and we are sitting pretty.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
And a Cura battle behind this door right here. We're in Radiant Light, so we're feeling confident with this approach. Bit of a mixed party. That Acolyte's probably going to be my first target because I hate taking stress damage in this mix. But again, the Shaman's of an equal priority. Let's drop some damage down. 5 and a 6. Not outstanding, but nothing to complain about by any measure. Let's drop a Blight in the back row as well, just to try and support some damage over time in place. 5 hit points, the Shaman is dead. 7 hit points, so the Acolyte has a little ways to go still, unfortunately. Now, we can look at our options. We could try and do a finish him move to absolutely finish her. We could try and go for the insta-kill as well on the Cultist Brawler. And I think that's going to be, as much as it's a forlorn... No, look, let's take the damage we're guaranteed to get. Let's take the kill we know we're going to have coming. Because I don't want to take a chance on stress damage that I don't have to take. I could look at dropping a bleed on either of these two guys without too much complication, but since they will have attacks in place, I will activate a riposte. Nicely done, and 7 damage is nothing to complain about. Barnacle Barrier drops down on the Brawler, so that prot is now buffed even further. Ren for the Old Gods drops some damage, but gets a kill. And his guard is invalidated in a big and healthy way. Ooh, golly gosh. Pull isn't going to be appropriate. Sacrificial Stab is appropriate. Let's do it. 8 damage! Wow, this Occultist is getting some gnarly melee hits in. Could look for a stun at this stage. Could also try and look for a blight. What we're probably going to do is drop that blight because it is damage over time is the best way of taking out guys with high prot. That's just how it is. Let's go for another bleed attack if we can, just to keep that pain train rolling. And again, 7 damage coming through in the next turn. And now we'll just try and do the most damage we possibly can, given circumstances. That said, Hook and Slice is useless in its current position, so let's just drop finish him down. 6 damage, and I believe that is him dead. Yep. Nicely done. Move charm, some gold, and a portrait. We're going to have a small inventory problem, so we will ditch the anti-venom. Quick reshuffle back into position. That bleed is going to be coming through no matter what we do, so let's open the giant oyster with the bounty hunter and
wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy
there
alike.
are indeed some treasures there. We have very little left of this dungeon, so we will eat our food up to 1 hunger check, which puts us in a good place to dispose of it should we need to. Pressing on, we have a pack which contains loot, which is unfortunately, well, it saves me some damage, which is very nice. That final hunger check and a torch up. That's the last of the consumables. From here on in, we're starving or mad. And pressing into the last room that we have to do. It's an empty, but we get scouting, so we know it's coming. And 2 corridor battles and an curio. Inventory is looking pretty good for corridor battles and a curio, so let's try and take these through. 3 groupers. And we get the surprise on them as well, which makes life just so lovely. Try for the sacrificial stab. Not going to get an insta-kill on him by any measure, but let's try and do some back row damage. Gets the dodge in though, which again, I can't complain about because it happens to everyone. Could look at a single stun on someone. It's going to be a pretty good call at this stage. Let's stun the back row. Shuffling these guys is completely irrelevant, so I'm not going to be too worried about any false equivalents there. Finish him now should be... Oh, not quite enough for the insta-kill, so we'll have to wait until next turn before we consider doing something there. We could finish him off with the Duelist Advance, so we could start to get a... Well, again, dead is better than stunned, and still in a good place next turn. Not going to complain. Seaweed Slash drops to 9 damage, and that's pretty substantial given his hit points, especially if it's followed up with another attack, but it's a dodge. Fantastic. Let's try and get the pain train started. Collect bounty drops down, same damage either way, so collect bounty drops on back position for the insta-kill. Absolutely beautiful. We'll go for a weird reconstruction on the bounty hunter, and it's only 6 HP. Well, it's a null trade, functionally. Point blank shot though. Boom, he's dead. We've reset positions, and, you know, that's round. We've got another corridor battle coming, so let's... Oops, dim light, that's not what I wanted. Wanted to amp that up in advance. Let's try weird reconstruction again. Or Abyssal Artillery. Abyssal Artillery. I'm feeling confident. Perhaps I shouldn't, but I am. 6 HP, 4 HP, so a blight here is going to be amazingly effective. We have 1 death guaranteed and 1 more on the way. Oh, golly gosh. Drop a finish him right here. 16 damage, close to the upper end of maximum, so no complaints there at all. And we get to get the jump on this bleedy guy. Brain of Whips drops, everyone dodges, and we get the riposte in for free damage to the tune of 8 hit points, which is just lovely. Collect bounty right here again. Rounds mopped up, and we get some free prizes. Again, don't have the right things to open this one up. There is still booty though, and we pick that up, and that's round. So, short, sharp, relatively simple. We're just, you know, doing a bit of a lobby grind for XP. Not a bad haul as far as gold goes. 13k for an apprentice level map isn't too shabby. 6 busts, 2 portraits, 4 deeds, and 8 crests. Again, deeds at the stage are relatively useless. There are still a few things I can pick up in the caravan, but yeah, I'm happy to have that one played out. Did we get any upgrades? Yes, Chauncy has made it to a 3, which is just fine. Montfort has picked up Warrior of Light, which is perfect for the way that I play, plus 10 damage for torture at 75. Backtracker, well, Backtracker is only useful if everyone is a Backtracker, and Bohan is still an unadulterated Loby. Not sure how XP gets accrued.
And reward, a siren's call to the enterprising stalker.
Yeah, these guys both appear to be level 0, so there's nothing really to compel me to pick them up. Did get to cure off a few diseases, most notably the Black Plague, which is just unpleasant for everyone. Hieromania and Wieldphobe are also gone as cheapy quirks to remove. And because you guys asked, I'll do the back of house on camera. So we've got a level 3 Grave Robber, which is relatively compelling. I've flirted with having Grave Robbers, and none of them have really. You know, let's get rid of the. Let's get rid of the Abomination.
It is done. Turn yourself now to the condition of those poor devils who remain.
And let's have a quick look at the abilities of this Grave Robber so we can decide how we're going to play her out. Using Grave Robbers in move with my current roster is somewhat problematic, but Poison Darts are always amazing. Toxic Trickery is very useful to keep her alive, and Thrown Dagger is pretty good as well. Shadow Fade, not so much. Flashing Daggers, don't really care. The debuff to bleed resistance has some good synergies, to be honest, with a couple of our characters, but let's just start with Thrown Dagger and see how we go. Next up, we had a level up on Chauncy, which means it's time for him to visit the guild and get his stuff upped. Superb. There may also be an armor upgrade in it for him. Yes, there is. And everyone else is kind of as maxed as they can be as far as these things go. Do a quick scroll through the party roster, and everyone who is a 5 or up is a 5 or up. Yup. Okie dokie. Beyond that, we can have a look at the upgrade situation. So again, we've already touched on the fact that we can do some stuff with the stagecoach there, but I want to wait ever so slightly because I think I need the crests for something else, with the crests being needed mainly for the 38. I've just got 38. Still have a lot of busts to go. Now, the quick question really is, what can I still use deeds for? This is upgraded completely. This is upgraded completely. No upgrades there, no upgrades there. It's all just crests. I don't really need deeds for anything other than stagecoach. Let's up you to 3.
Can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
And that's kind of satisfactory, to be honest. Again, I'm not expecting the chances for experienced recruits to come through thick and fast, but the more I can do to maximize that, the better. Next thing we have on our list of things to do is to look at that itty bitty quest reward that wasn't particularly useful. Let's quick unequip all and sort. What we can see here is we have a Jester Bloody Dice, which we can pretty safely get rid of. We don't often really worry about that. The next thing was there's something else. Oh yeah, Move Charm. Get rid of that as well. And we said we were going to do something about the Holy Orders. We only have 2 Crusaders. I'm not expecting to have more than 2 Crusaders. I feel very, very foolish. I might... Foolish. Irony. I might... Yeah, take care of... Maybe get 3, but I think we're safe to sell that there. Which means that from a money situation, we're in a pretty good place to... And I'm holding on to a lot of stuff, which is fine. Money place, we're in a pretty good way to consider getting rid of some fixed nastier quirks. So these 2 aren't too nasty. These 2 aren't too nasty. Claustrophobia might be worth getting rid of. Foolish, again. Nothing here is giving us like massive like stat debuffs, but Fear of Mankind is potentially problematic for Meverell, so we will spend the cash now to get rid of that. Next up is Parry, who's completely free of all quirks. Bad Gambler, known sheet. Satanophobia is going to come in really nasty in the Darkest Dungeon. I've got a strange feeling. So we will try and drop that off the list. There we go. And then if we have any minor diseases that I feel like we need to take care of, I will. But it's really only 9 lives that I think I'm not going to be using roster-wise. Let's think about what we're going to do next. So we've got some missions to look at. I'm not going to make this one a double header, even though it was a short one, because the next thing we have is a kill of the Alluring Siren, which is somewhat overdue, and fortunately I've got a pretty good roster to do just that, I think. To see how that plays out. In the meantime, I've been Ahdoom. This has been fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I'd love if you hit that like button down the bottom. If you want to subscribe, I'd be so grateful. I'd love to show you more of these videos, and to catch the old playlist or the newest video, it's all right there on the screen for you now. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.